Hi everyone, welcome to Tech and Talk, and today we are going to start HTTP put requests. Last time we have covered different use cases of HTTP post endpoint. So let's start with copy pasting HTTP post implementation, and we can update that one. So I will start with the region HTTP put request and region, and I will paste that one here. All right, that should be HTTP put, and I would like to model a user like this, and yeah. Okay, so first thing first, for the case of HTTP put, we should return 204, that is no content, because we know that we have updated our record in the database. The ID is still with us. That is the generic use case where we want to, whenever we want to implement HTTP put, we should return no content from that response. All right, so let's add from body along with that, and yeah, that is the call. And let me quickly rerun the application, and let's copy paste this request, and we can change this to put. All right, so as soon as I click on this one, I get 404 no content from that endpoint, which is what I was expecting. So one way is to, whenever we want to update our record, we can, or we have to find that particular record from the user database, and we need to update that record in the database, and then in the response we can return no content, HTTP 204. So for that one, either we can do get record from database by user ID, and from where this user ID will be coming, that will be coming from user.id. This is a one way, but the best practice is to pass that ID as a part of the URL. All right, that should be the best practice, like this. All right, here now we can get the user from the database based on that user ID, and whenever we got that user, what we can do that user or only all user is equal to user, and then we can update the database, and then we can return type results without no content. So this is how we can implement that one. So to see that we got these values from the request, we can add our debugger, and let me run this application. And now from that call, we need to pass, let's say the user ID was 10, and if I click on here, now you can see we have debug point here, and we can see user ID is 10, and we are getting whole user from that body, user ID 10, and the post the name is post test. All right, so this is how we can implement HTTP put endpoint. The purpose of HTTP put endpoint is whenever we want to update any record in the system, generally, or in the database, we can or we should expose HTTP put endpoint for that purpose. And this is the basis of RESTful services. Get is for query from the system, post is to add something in the system, put is to update something in the system, and delete is to remove some record from the system. So these are the four basics request types in the RESTful services. All right, so this is how we have implemented that one. If I remove the debugger, and in the response we should have now okay, that is status timeout, that is fine. If I now again pause request and I click on continue, you can see now I am getting 40204. That is no content from the API. So that was all regarding the HTTP put endpoint. In case of any particular use case, to ask in the comments and I will explain in next coming videos. One more thing, if we start the application, if you guys clone that, and you will see that we will have that weather forecast coming by default as a starter URL of this API, which is not there anymore because that weather endpoint is coming as a part of that API template. So to remove that one, I will stop this application, and you need to go to the properties, launch settings.json. Here you can find weather forecast keyword. You can just simply remove those and press Ctrl S, and now if you press Ctrl F5, you will have that page appearing, the default endpoint, and it's saying welcome to the world of minimal APIs in the .NET 7. If you guys remember that we have created at the very beginning of this tutorial series, go to the program.cs, and on the top get request, this is the endpoint which is currently hit. So if you double check that one, just click on or put a debugger here and just run the application, and by default as soon as application is loaded, you will see that endpoint will be called. All right, so this is a string and we are just returning that string from that type results.ok. So with that one, we have covered three different types: get, put, get, post, and put. And in the next coming video, we will discuss the delete endpoint, how to implement HTTP delete in minimal APIs, and we will start from there. So that was all from this video. I hope now you guys can easily create your own minimal APIs. In case you have any question, do ask me in the comments, and keep coding.